Chelsea tell Lukaku exactly where he stands as star-handed ruthless dilemma. So that's him gone in the summer then. When push came to shove and Romelu Lukaku needed a start along with a show of defiance from Chelsea, the £100 million Belgium striker was benched against Lille. More brutally still, the Blues looked better for it, faster, more fluid and far more difficult to contain. Kai Havertz should have scored twice before he actually did. He took just 5 touches to find the net within 7 minutes, compared to Lukaku's now infamous 7 in 90 at Crystal Palace last Saturday. And, at a stage of the Champions League where nobody is interested in hard luck stories, Chelsea made sure they had none. Thomas Tuchel reasoned pre-match that Lukaku had looked a little exhausted having started the previous 10 games in a row. Chelsea 2-0 Lille, 6 talking points as Kai Havertz's role raises Romelu Lukaku questions. Nobody was buying it. Everyone was still talking about the Belgians' rock bottom at Selhurst Park. So fair play to the Chelsea boss for eventually telling it like it is. Speaking after the 2-0 win over Lille, Tuchel explained that Havertz had provided more for his team than Lukaku had been. He was grafting more, tracking back more, making more things happen instead of waiting for them. He really steps up in games. His effort is immense, his work rate is immense, said Tuchel. The volume of the areas of the pitch that he covers for us is very, very good. Imagine being Lukaku and hearing that. He'd have seen it for himself just like the rest of us beforehand anyway. And he'd have had it from Tuchel in the dressing room too. But it still would have stung for him to have had it said out so publicly in the post-match press conference. Especially as it remains the case that Lukaku's Chelsea teammates must at least shoulder some of the blame. Have your say. Should Lukaku and Chelsea part ways this summer? Join the debate here. When he arrived last summer, the widespread feeling was that he offered something different to a team that had lifted the Champions League without a striker last season, that he would turbocharge their chase for the Premier League title. To watch Chelsea, however, you get the sense that the Blues team don't want to utilize that different option. Lukaku makes countless runs in games in vain. They don't seem to want to find him. There is time to address that, you could argue, ahead of next season. For now, though, with something having to give, it has turned out to be the Belgian. Tuchel doesn't have the time for indulgences. He has a competition to win, a brief on which his job hinges. Neither Roman Abramovich nor his chief negotiator, Marina Granovskaya, are individuals who tolerate failure. You wouldn't even stick your money on Lukaku starting Sunday's Carabao Cup final. Not from Tuchel's refusal to guarantee he'd be restored to the starting lineup. It was telling to all of us in the press box at Stamford Bridge that the frontman was the only non-used substitute not to warm down after the Lille win. All in all, it does indeed look like Lukaku gone in the summer. He can be forgiven for feeling unwanted and unloved. Inter Milan was set up to get the best out of him last season. Chelsea is not and appear not to want to be. So just as Tuchel needs to think about his own job and that players for whom his tactics work, Lukaku has too much to offer as a starter to languish on the bench. He has to start thinking about himself and his future.